Hi, I'm Pierre Escobas from Riviera Macro. This is a beautiful spring day. I'm near my home on the French Riviera, and that's just the perfect morning to do an orchid shoot. This is a good opportunity today to do a little tutorial about managing the light under different conditions. As you can see around me, there's areas of shade and also bright sun. And believe me, it's full of orchids. I have to be careful where I step right now because there are orchids here, there. They're just everywhere, but they're in different places. So I'm going to be facing different light conditions. The ones in the shade are just fine. I don't need anything really. I'm just going to do my setup and just shoot the orchids like they are here. But I also came here about 2 days ago, and I've seen some very nice orchids back there in the sunny patches behind me. So we're gonna have to manage that light which is gonna be very harsh, especially the sun is coming up right now. And so I'll show you a few tricks about diffusing the light and managing the harsh light so we can do very nice orchid images. Why orchids? Because first it's the full orchid season right now. They're all blooming, many species. And second, because we're in lockdown and I can't get out really and go to the gardens where I go usually to shoot plants and flowers, etc. So we're stuck with orchids, which is not so bad after all. So follow me, we're gonna go for the shoot. So I'm here in a pretty bright day. The sun's right there. It's mid-morning. It's pretty harsh sun, and I want to shoot this orchid. Okay, so I've set up my camera. The problem is that the light is very harsh right now. It's going to create very uneven sides on my image. This is going to be dark. This is going to be too bright. It's very difficult to get it, evenly lit, even in post-processing. So I'm going to have to modulate the light. I'm going to tame the light with a few tricks. So I'm going to show you 3 different tricks to do that. The first one's very simple. When you're in a situation like this, you can just interpose your body or your hand between the sun and your subject. I do that very often with insects, for example, even especially when I shoot flash. I don't want the bright reflections of the sun on the surface of the insect. So what I do is I set up my flash, it's diffused, and I block the light with my hand. So that's what I'm going to do here, is just put my hand here, and it will block the light on the flower and create a shadow. And that's good enough. I can take my picture, and my flower being in the shadow will be much more evenly lit. It's a trick people use for portraits, for example. They put the subject in the light shadows. So it works very well. It depends how your subject is positioned. The problem is that creates a pretty dense shadow on your subject, and maybe it's too dense, it's a bit too dark. So the second trick I recommend to use is this. That's a very cheap solution. Escaped. All right, still alive. It's a diffuser. So cheap one, the folding type. There are bigger ones. I like these because they're small, don't take space in my bag. I can put them in my pocket. And I'm going to put it here between the sun and my flower, and it creates a much nicer shade, less dense, more even, and it's a very nice accessory. If you go further away, it's actually less dense, so you want to modulate also the shadow by doing this, and taking your pictures, okay? So this is very good, very cheap, nice to use. I've got several always with me, and they don't take space in the bag. But my favorite thing is really this. This is so simple, so light, so cheap, costs nothing to make. It's packing foam, the kind that comes around, the packages, the fragile objects, the prints you may order, thin packing foam. And I cut just a piece A4 and put it in an office pocket for documents. So basically the cost is like 1 cent. And this is my favorite lighting tool because when I put it between the sun and my subject, it creates such a light, nice, even light, you know. It's beautiful, you know, it's less density in the shadow with this because it's very thin, and it creates beautiful light on the subject. So this is really my favorite. It costs absolutely nothing. You can fold it like this, put it in your pocket, doesn't matter, it's not fragile. You can make new ones whenever you want. I use a lot of packing foams for diffusion, and so that's really the best tool, I think, but you have a choice, and you can use the different tricks depending on the situation. I even sometimes shoot insects in natural light using this and holding my camera, and with the other hand putting this over the insect, so the light distribution is much more even, especially on bright insects. So it can be used not only for this but other situations. I've moved back to a few meters because I want to get photos of this beautiful pink butterfly orchid here. I've set up the camera exactly against the sun. The sun is exactly right up there because I want the sun to shine through the flower and give me that nice transparency. On the other hand, being against the sun means, you know, I have to either light the front of the flower or to bring some shade to the flower. I can use my handheld diffusers to do that, but it's not going to be convenient to hold the diffuser like this, try and focus, adjust the focus for the stack, you know, shoot the camera, do it again. It's going to be very inconvenient. I don't have anybody to help me here, I'm by myself, so I'm going to use an accessory that can stand by itself. This is this. It's a very cheap folding white umbrella, which I bought on Amazon simply. Very simple, light, small, and I'm just going to put it here behind my flower, like this. That's it. Very simple, and it will give me a nice diffused light. It's just like a studio light. You can bring a studio umbrella, but those are big like this, and they don't fold, so they take up much space, and this is so much more convenient because you can fit in your bag or in your pocket very easily. Strangely, by the way, in the stores, you don't find these white ones. I had to order it online because in the stores I find only black and gray and blue ones. Anyway, so now I'm ready to shoot. The thing is, maybe this is in the way. It's going to be in the background, so I can move it like this a bit. Or I can use another accessory, which I wouldn't go anywhere without. It's this. This is the best friend of the macrophotographer. These are clamps from the hardware store, and I wouldn't go anywhere without them. You'll see them in many tutorials. I use them for just about everything. They're extremely cheap. You can buy bags of them, actually. I've got many. I wouldn't go to an expedition or travel abroad without at least two of these. And in this particular case, I'm going to use a small tripod, a small cheap tripod that I have in my bag, and I'm going to clamp the umbrella to the tripod and just orient it like this, exactly like a studio light. Now I can even push it further so the light is even more diffused, and my flower is in the shade, but still I have the sun shining through once I angle this properly. Okay, so it would take too much time here now to vary the angle, etc. But that's the setup I'm going to use. I'm actually going to do the stack right now on this flower. Okay, so sun's up now. It's really nice, nice and warm. It's a good time. I've dropped the sweater and I'm going to be here another couple of hours shooting the orchids. The thing is, the light keeps changing, and I don't control where the subjects are, so I need to adapt to the different light conditions. So I wanted to show you also another way of controlling the light on your subjects beyond diffusion. I want to bounce back now the light on my flowers because I want to shoot this particular orchid here. It's half in the sun is right there, so that side is light, and that side is dark, so I need to balance that so I don't have too much of a dynamic range on my images, and so I'm going to bring back some of the lights. We've done that on the previous tutorial, but I want to show you small tricks that I use which basically cost nothing to do, which are these. It doesn't require a lot of equipment to do this kind of images, you can just use white card, or you can use these, which are actually the cardboard that comes with salmon packages and fish packages in the supermarket, you know. So we eat the fish and I keep the cardboards, and they're very nice because they've got two sides. One is aluminum foil, silver, and the other one is gold. So I'm going to show you the effects of these different light modifiers on my orchid. So the orchid is here. I'm just going to bounce the light this way, and you will see, I'm going to put this in the video, you'll see how the light will change using these different modifiers. And so this is the effect I get with the aluminum foil side, the silver side, and it's actually quite harsh. Personally, I don't like it so much. It brings back a lot of light, so for very dark subjects, good, but I think it's too bright. I can also use the golden side, which gives me a lot of warm light. It's an effect. You can use that. It works well on some subjects, some flowers. Gives a nice warm glow, like end of the afternoon type of light. Again, you have to decide which you prefer. So really cheap. I got plenty. We eat plenty of fish, salmon, whatever, and you know, I've got plenty of these. Very convenient. What I like really best is this. This is actually a white cardboard where I glued crushed aluminum foil. This is fantastic because the fact that you have crushed the foil scatters the light, does not just redirect the light like the silver one does. This will both bounce the light and scatter it, spread it. So the effect is much softer, and this is my preferred method of bringing back the shadows, is using the crushed aluminum foil. I'm going to demonstrate it, how you make this. It's very simple, and they give me a very nice effect. So I can just do this, maybe put a little support here, or even just like this. That probably won't show in the picture. It won't. And just click and get my images. Okay. Now, of course, if you want to bring a lot more light, there's always the option of using the very large reflector that we've used in the previous video to bounce back a lot of light on the subject. These 5-in-1, they have silver, white, gold, so you have the choice of surfaces. They're a bit bigger and less maybe easy to set up or hold. So personally, I really favor those. Very convenient, don't take much space in the bag. And again, I prefer really this surface, okay? So let's look at the images. So that's it. There are plenty of orchids around me, so I'm going to spend a little bit more time here taking pictures, and I'll display them at the end of this video. I hope you have enjoyed the tutorial. If you have comments and questions, please leave them below, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.